Hey folks, how do you do? Nice to see you. My name's Dustin Cormier, and this is How to Rock Astrology. If you're watching this, you or somebody you know could be a Capricorn Sun with Mars in Scorpio. And that's the nature of this reading today, particularly at a sexual level. I like to give my own psychological rendition, and then things get juicy about like at the 10-minute mark usually. Now, Capricorn, the conservative, authority-driven, hardworking achiever. This is very much the primeval psyche of Capricorn, and this is also, it blends into their sexual psyche as well. Most signs combine living life with their sexual life, and this is as true with Capricorn as it is with anybody else, possibly more so. Capricorn has this specific way of dealing with sexuality where essentially the lover has to be in tune with Capricorn's desire for self-control, authority, of respectability and achievement. They want this for themselves. They want this in their partner. They want this as a couple, a duo, a relationship. Anything Capricorn associates itself with has to be as high quality, high grade, respectable as the car they drive, as their status in life. Usually Capricorn will either want these things or will have the integrity to live by these things. It might be tough for them to build a life which can express what they're trying to get. But they will always have these values in mind. And lovers they're not usually the ones to waste time in love with lovers that don't deeply reflect on and resonate with these goals that the Capricorn has in mind, these values that the Capricorn has in mind. In fact, you might, depending on where your Venus and your Moon are, if you have a good Venus and Moon, you will communicate with a lover, and it won't just be about how they can aid in your ambitions, but Capricorn, no matter what, will probably find someone, whether it's a good Moon and Venus or not, they will be in tune with the Capricorn's need to achieve and to have ambition and to be respectable, to be kind of refined even, not too raunchy. Although in the bedroom there can be it's like the Capricorn wants you to get their vibe, which is that we're uptight in the street but completely unfolded in the sheets. And even, there's still a rigidity and like a toughness and like a demonstrativeness and a horny goat like prowess, raw, muscular holding that is going throughout the day, which they carry into their sexual energy. Now, we add on top of this essentially conservative, traditional, high-achieving Capricorn ego in psychology with a well-attuned Mars with a capacity to actually not just desire these things and not just to project these things, but to wear it in your musculature, to grip your animal impulses, to grip your neurological body so that you can wring out the best of each experience and slowly build towards the heights of what you seek to achieve as a Capricorn. It's a good combination. It's deadly, really. There's something to be said about the fact that Mars is exalted in Capricorn. Here we have Mars in Scorpio, ruled by Mars, and the Sun is in Capricorn, which is where Mars is exalted. So the Mars here, being a good Mars, can really deeply explore whatever field the Capricorn seeks to involve itself in order to achieve and get to its heights. Whatever people Capricorn involves itself with are going to be well researched and diligently examined in the feeling and psychic intuition of the Mars in Scorpio. It's a pretty powerful combination of strict rational realism in the method of the brain, combined with psychic intuition and empathy and people sublimating people understanding in the capacity of the brain, in the unconscious of the brain. The conscious method is rational, skeptical, scientific, hierarchical, empirical, judges and validates through contrast to other achievers and achievements in the world, strictly black and white reasoning. This is all Capricorn stuff, but the Mars and Scorpio can understand the animal impulse, which you need to get a grip on, which is wet and slippery and not always rational. It's this mysticism. Mysticism is irrational. Mysticism does not contend. The mysticism of getting a grip on your own animal body, you usually have to have a certain openness to the body's nature as it is. When you have a detached consciousness like Capricorns, they often lose touch with their body if they don't have a good Mars, basically. Any Capricorn that doesn't have a good Mars will wish to express the ego of high accomplishment and high achievement. But if they don't have a good Mars, then they're just going to be living in the gritty gruffness of wanting something that they have a hard time actually coming to grips with. Here, Mars is in one of its best signs. If you want to check out more about Mars and Scorpio, you can. I've got a video at the start of this series that talks purely about Mars and Scorpio. It's one of the best places for Mars. It gives a man and a woman the ability to balance out any sexual imbalances that comes from Capricorn as a star sign. Women can be tough and authoritative when it comes to being a Capricorn woman. And the Mars in Scorpio here knows that you have to be intelligent in how you apply your basic ego psyche towards others in order that you can manipulate them and maneuver them. Maneuver is a better word. You can maneuver them to help you achieve the ambitions of Capricorn. And the Mars in Scorpio here has a sensitivity to how I operate and how you operate and how we can operate together. It's the nature of Scorpio. It's like the second house from the seventh house, the second sign from the seventh sign. It is about the business of blending. And what this is for, in this case, is the Capricorn ego. Mars is for Capricorn. Mars is the general to the intentions of the sun. This is part of what I'm trying to teach in all of these videos, is the Vedic sense that Mars is the general for the planetary army and the sun is the king. Mars keeps the planetary army in tune, keeps you in tune, and keeps your resources in check. You probably have a good people sense of how to be in dialogue with people, at least enough to maneuver them. You might not actually be interested in them for the sake of a heartfelt connection. It can be hard for Capricorn to do that anyway, but that depends on your moon and your Venus. If they're well placed, if Venus is closer to Pisces, then you will have an ability to relate and a desire to relate in a genuine way. But regardless of all of this, you will always, having Mars in Scorpio gives you a real sense of the furry, liquid, wet underbelly of psychic intuition, which is often missing in people who go purely by surface rational reasoning. It's a powerful combination. And in the bedroom, it can also give you a passion, an aura of pushiness, of magnetic attractiveness, how to make yourself feel attractive and look attractive, what it is about your gender that draws out the best of your gender. You can feel it as well as being a Capricorn and being able to uphold it and push it for the sake of the mutual agenda that is meeting up and having a sexual experience with another human being. Capricorn reads it in that way. What do we both have in order to achieve the peak of mutual ecstasy and excitement and merging and enjoyment in the sexual experience for each other? What can I employ and what can you employ? Capricorn understands the business of it all and the rational reasoning of it all, but the Mars in Scorpio here is like not breaking the fourth wall. It's like this living thing that's just like acting first and then rationally reasoning about it like second. They're both there. The brain and the heart are working in a very interestingly positive way in this combination. They're working in tandem with each other for the purposes of the Capricorn ego to have an accomplished, highly achieved, highly sophisticated, and hot and sexy, but also athletic and energetic sexual experience. And they will tend to hold on to the people who make all of this happen. It's the Mars in Scorpio is like that, as well as the Capricorn. Capricorn prefers to just find one person who does the trick for them and then sticks there. But this might be one Capricorn who's a little bit slutty at the early part of life, if only to experience, to apply the scorpionic, methodical experimentation with how I ought to apply my physical body at the felt feeling level when it comes to the sexual experience. So the Capricorn who doesn't like to fake their projected confidence and strength. They like to know the field that they're getting into. So you as a Capricorn, when you were probably young, were probably learning how to give a good fuck, how to give a good blowjob, how to be the master of this or that experience, how to eat pussy the best, better than anybody else, and to even actively apply it, try it out with people, experiment with it in a gripped way, so that when you do finally get the lover who you want to be your one, you have cataloged a little bit of experience for that, just for that sake alone. So ultimately, we're going to read how Capricorn's heart is monogamous, but this Capricorn in particular might sleuth around a bit just to get the Mars at a feeling level for what Mars is all about, which relates so deeply to sexuality and passion and surrender and functionality in relationships. So that was a whole thing. Usually these days, I often go till 3 minutes in before I get to our book. But now we're at our book. This is a reading from Erotic Astrology by Phyllis Vega. What I like to do is I'm going to read about Capricorn Sun first. What is the nature of Capricorn Sun? Purely at its own raw Sun ego nature in sexuality. And then after this, we're going to have a combined reading from the same book of Capricorn Sun with Mars and Scorpio. So for now, this is just the nature, the erotic sexual nature of Capricorn Sun. What are Capricorn Sun's turn-ons and turn-offs? Capricorns are inherently cautious and less likely to engage in casual sex than other signs, as we've just said. The more secure you feel in a relationship, the more likely you are as a Capricorn to cast aside your inhibitions and follow the impulses of your sensuality. This is such a sensual, physical, earthy feeling vibe of a person that they want to deeply let go and feel the nature of their own body. Capricorn wants to understand how to best use their own body and to put it to its best use. It's like when you're shoveling a hole, you want to know the angle to get that boot in there to get the most effective leverage and all these things. So Capricorn wants to do all of this, but it requires the vulnerability of opening the fullness of your body to a partner, and you don't want to do that probably unless you got a closeness with them. The Capricorn's distaste for public displays of affection helps you keep your powerful libido under strict control outside the bedroom. Mars and Scorpio might have a bit of more play in this regard. Even in private, it may take some encouragement from your partner before you loosen up enough to follow your wildest carnal impulses. However, once you get going, your approach to lovemaking is lusty and straightforward. Although basically conventional, the goat Capricorn Sun enjoys being courted and coaxed. Nothing turns you on as fast as a well-staged seduction scene with all the traditional trimmings, sexy attire, silky sheets, dim lighting, music, candles, and a properly chilled bottle of bubbly. Physical sensations. The intensity of Capricorn's sex drive goes through cycles depending on the workload throughout the day or the week, and various mood swings. The Mars in Scorpio helps you get a grip on this and helps you to organize it in a juicy way. Your ideal lover senses your moods. When you have an ideal lover, they can get in tune with your moods and they can intuit your shifting needs. For Capricorn, the legs, and especially the knees, the backs of the knees, these are very sensitive in Capricorn natives. They put a lot of energy and muscular tension in their legs to get around. Light stroking on the backs of your knees is guaranteed to stir your slumbering passions. During low periods, your partner may reawaken physical desire by trailing a large feather or a bit of fur or string over your skin, especially in these ultra-sensitive areas. Although you don't normally require a lot of foreplay to get in the mood, you enjoy being caressed and pampered when you're feeling stressed. An erotic massage helps you relax and sets the stage for lovemaking. Where love and sex are concerned, the goat Capricorn cannot be rushed. This is also true with the Mars and Scorpio. Quickies don't really satisfy you. You prefer taking it slow and getting it right. Endurance is Capricorn's forte, again with Mars and Scorpio, it's even more. Once aroused, you can keep it going all night long. You're proud of your sexual prowess. In satisfying your bedmate's needs, the business of lovemaking, satisfying your bedmate's needs and desires is as important to you as satisfying your own, especially if you respect the partner, which you probably will. Capricorn psyche tends to move on this idea. They can often feel like a guy, Capricorn, can feel like a boy that wants to deeply impress a respected female figure or whatever partner figure that you respect. It's the Mars and Scorpio here, interestingly, has gotten used to applying a magnetic charisma in every interaction so that you still... There's a funny thing going on here where you are this come-hither, hot, sexy thing with all the hot energy, but you secretly desire someone who is just as smart, just as sleuthy, just as intelligent and refined, and comes up to you, sees your intelligence and your power, and that like intense Scorpio just shuddering and sleuthing beneath this refined exterior of the Capricorn. You want to find somebody who has that same exterior, has the same respectability, but who comes to you and meets you in a mutuality, and you might even be on the top. You might be the one who kind of is the power instigator for this very powerful but ultimately submissive to you individual. That is probably the height of your expression, definitely as a man, but also as a woman, too. I believe a Capricorn woman with Mars and Scorpio would similarly enjoy baiting someone, instigating the power instigation, but ultimately hoping that they are like somebody who's powerful, who you respect, but you want to respect them and almost like worship them and bow to them without them knowing it. It's behind closed doors, you worship them, but when you actually meet them, you want to be the one that they worship, or at least something who they deeply admire as well, and you want to achieve and accomplish their intrigue with your instinctive machismo and sort of control of your own animal impulses that you have. It's almost like it's an easy thing for you to do, but you're not going to give it away to any lapdog. You need someone who's constantly going to impress you, show you that they're this respectable thing, but have a dialogue going on where they do know to tell you that, damn, you just rocked my world. No one has ever gotten me the way you do specifically. It's the thing that this Capricorn with Mars and Scorpio probably deeply enjoys and looks for. So that was kind of a reading of just pure straight Scorpio, Capricorn Sun. And I said my own little bits on it. Now this is coming from the same book. We're going to wrap this whole thing up with a reading of the erotic nature, a combined reading of Sun in Capricorn with Mars and Scorpio. And that's what this is. Sun in Capricorn, Mars in Scorpio. This potent combination brings together sexy Scorpio's emotional intensity with the horny goat's legendary physical sexual prowess. In love and life, you know what you want, and you refuse to be sidetracked by extraneous circumstances. It's the Mars and Scorpio that has a firm grip on its organization of its ideals, its ambitions, its goals, its plan, its energy, its attack on its ambitions. So no one can really sidetrack you or get you to let go of this firm grip you have in your ambition. Any lover you have needs to understand and flow with this dimension of you. Despite your strong sex drive, you are a private and secretive person. And what happens in the bedroom often stays in the bedroom. Your seduction style is subtle, but powerful, and your actions communicate what your words can't. You demand a lot from your bed partner, both physically and emotionally, athletically and passionately. You can be quite critical if he or she falls short of your expectations. Moreover, chemistry alone is not enough to entice you in an intimate union. Chemistry alone is not enough. To remain committed, you need a partner whose ideas and beliefs complement your own. It's what you're both mutually building towards, how you understand the expression of energy mutually between each other. So you would really appreciate someone who has a well-defined expression of their mystical, of their own energy, of not being pushed around. It's like you respect and need all these things in a person, you know? And you can be quite critical if they fall short of your expectations. But, you know, this is just like having a strong, firm boss in any sort. A music teacher, a teacher. When your teacher is firm and won't give you an easy 100%, it's frustrating. And your lover might be frustrated that you don't always just give them 100%. They got to work for it. But it's just interesting that you will find a discerning, you will attract a discerning relationship because of this way that you are, this critical nature. It's just, you know, I highly recommend that you employ some moon in Venus so that, you know, find some way to communicate to your lover that this is for our best, both our mutual interest, and I'm not trying to be a dick to you, honey. I'm just trying to get the best out of both of us, because that's what I do and that's what I am. And your partner should appreciate that. Something that would be good for you guys to communicate, so that you can be this arbiter of taste and high value in everything that you do together. It's a juicy combination. And I'm glad that I got to meet you, and that you got to meet me, and that we got to talk about it. So I'm glad that I did this video. I'm Dustin Cormier for How to Rock Astrology. I hope you guys dug. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, comment if you feel like it, if you enjoyed. And keep your eyes peeled, because I always got more stuff coming out. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Woo! See you later.